Mr. Choose here with my 52-week success challenge, and this is week 7. So 6 weeks ago, I challenged you in a video to take a 52-week success challenge with me. I want to be successful in the year 2024 with this new business venture I've started, and I want you to be successful as well. Since then, we've identified several different steps that you need to become successful, and I've been posting a video every week with something else that Napoleon Hill, in his book A Year of Growing Rich, identified as the 52 important steps that you need to take to be successful. He also had a book, his main book was called Think and Grow Rich, and we'll talk about that later in a special video I'm going to be doing. Let's recap what we discussed since the first week of January. So in week 1, that first week of January, we talked about your goals. It's very important you write them down. It's very important you memorize them. Create a plan so that you can achieve them. In week 2, we talked about how your mind is yours, and please don't let any outside people bring a negative interference into them. You own your mind. So when you come up with that goal, don't let someone tell you that you cannot achieve that goal. Then in week 3, we talked about it's very important to be original and add something to whatever your line of business is. We talked about 2 people, Henry Ford and John Wanamaker. Henry Ford was the one that allowed pretty much every American to have an automobile. He also changed production, and John Wanamaker changed the retail environment. Then in week 4, we talked about emulating success. We wanted you to be positive, and we gave you a list of people who were successful and their traits versus the traits of people who weren't successful. And then be positive and always look at that glass being half full, not half empty. Then in week 5, we talked about embracing struggle, and I called it productive struggle. When you struggle through and get beyond an obstacle, you're really going to understand how to achieve your goal. And then in week 6, which was last week, we talked about being sincere and to make sure you deliver value. Make sure that what you're offering them is something that they want, and you will be successful. All right, so next we talked about week 7. This is our new thing that we're adding to it now. So each week, Napoleon Hill gives examples, and he's going to talk about his week 7 edition, which is called Hopefulness. Now, you need to make sure that you understand that he talks about examples of successful people. That was the whole point of him writing his books. He went out and interviewed all these people. Andrew Carnegie set him up with interviews with people. That's how he got to know Henry Ford and John Wanamaker, was through those interviews. And he found out that hopefulness is important. Hope led to faith. Faith would lead to determination. Determination would lead to action, and action is what you need whenever you have a plan for your goals. You have to take action in order to achieve your goals. So the man that he was talking about in this particular week, he talks about 2 of them, but the most important one was James J. Hill. And yes, he shared the same last name with Napoleon Hill, but had nothing to do with him other than he understood how to be successful, and Napoleon Hill did as well. So what did James J. Hill do? He was just a telegraph clerk. That was one of his first jobs at age 18. And there was a person that came up to him, and there had been a death, and they wanted to send a telegraph to console someone who was grieving after their husband had been killed. And so this person had this telegraph that James J. Hill sent. It said, "Your grief can be softened by your hope of meeting your husband in a better world." So he sent that, and after that person left, he thought, wow, hope. Hope. That's an important word, and it just laid on his mind. And he decided at that point, after thinking about hope all the time, that he was going to create a great railroad. He ended up making the Great Northern Railway System, and it created all kinds of millionaires because people needed to move everything out west. When all of the movement went west, they used his railway system. He got into other businesses later, but he used that idea of hope, that he had faith he would do it. He was determined to do it, and then he took action. So the action will be your plan to achieve your goals. Napoleon Hill ended week 7 with a long quote. And I'm going to read it to you because it's very important. From your hope and faith, decide on a definite goal. Write it down. Commit it to memory. Make it the fixed star on which you chart your course to success, then act to make it come true. When you have your eye firmly fixed on your guiding star, it is much easier to steer toward your goal, and you can quickly decide which actions will get you there quickly and which will delay you. Without your eye on the star, you may make many false turns before you reach your destination. A few days ago, I listened to an inspirational 17-minute audio from Earl Nightingale. He's another man I used to follow, and I have a lot of his writings that I've read and listened to. I'm going to post an additional video before I do next week's week 8 about Earl Nightingale and how he and Napoleon Hill are saying the same exact things. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Make sure you commit your goals to memory, be hopeful, like James J. Hill was. Write your goals down like Napoleon Hill said to do. Make a plan and take action today. I'll see you next time in the next video where I share some of Earl Nightingale's vision and talks about the same thing that Napoleon Hill talks about. We'll see you next time. Let's use this year, 2024, and these steps of success to both be successful. See you next time.